Sometimes in life we'll do things that we'll notice afterwards that we probably wouldn't have done had we have felt more on an even keel. And I'm sure you recognise that kind of thing. I certainly do, where we'll take some action or engage in some behaviour or consume something or spend something. And looking back, we'd think, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that, And you understand in yourself that had you been more on an even keel at the time, you wouldn't have done it. It was more a reaction to feeling a bit off balance. It was something that you only did in that moment because of how you felt. And there's an acronym that might be useful for you just to kind of check in before you decide to do anything like that, before you become too reactive. There's an acronym just to check in and ask yourself some basic questions. And the acronym is HALT, as in a word that means stop, HALT. And it's a nice little thing to remember so that whenever you are feeling off balance and do feel drawn to making some sort of decision or taking some sort of action, that you can check in with yourself first and say, oh, I see. That's the reason I'm feeling this way. And actually, that action isn't going to help me, but attending to what's going on in me will probably do me more good. So HALT is an acronym, HALT, and so I'll go through the 4 things that you can check in with yourself using this acronym. So H stands for hungry. Am I actually hungry at the moment? And it seems a strange one, doesn't it? But I'm sure when you think about it, you can remember one of those moments when you've been especially grumpy just because you haven't had enough food. There's even a phrase for it, isn't there? Hangry, where you get all kind of discombobulated and grumpy because you've just not fed yourself enough and your blood sugars are low and your body's depleted as a result. And so you're feeling miserable. And so you may well be tempted to take some sort of decision or do some action or spend something or consume something, whatever it happens to be, when really you're hungry. And so what would probably be the best action when you are genuinely hungry is to nourish yourself by having some food. So that's the first one. H stands for hungry. A stands for angry or upset. So has something upset you? Are you feeling angry about something? Because if you are, it's probably not the best time to make a decision. There's that old phrase, isn't there, that says something like, never make a decision in anger. Never make a decision in the heat of the moment. Never make a decision when you're feeling low. Let the moment pass and then make the decision with a clear head. And that kind of applies to this. So the A stands for angry or upset. Are you feeling emotional at the moment because something has just upset you? Because if you are, it's a good signal, I suppose, to step down your decision making, to wait it out and maybe not be so reactive in this moment, but see how you feel when that upset clears. Because you may well feel very, very different about that decision or action once it has. The L stands for lonely. Are you lonely? Are you about to do this thing or take this action or make this decision because actually you feel really lonely? And that what would be better for you was to take some steps to make connections with other people, whether that be going to visit someone or call someone on the phone. Maybe when you check in with, am I lonely, you realise that that's what's going on for you. And so this decision or action that you're about to take was really something that you wouldn't do if you didn't feel lonely, but is really an attempt just to soothe that. To soothe the fact that you're feeling lonely in this moment. And the final one, T, is, are you tired? Because again, much like hunger, when your body is depleted, your decision making isn't going to be the best. And probably what's best for you, if you're tired, is to rest. Maybe have a sleep. Take it easy in some way, relax. And so the action or decision that you're about to take reactively might really be because you're just tired. And once you've had a sleep and you wake up at the other side of it, maybe your thinking is different, and maybe it's a good idea to wait for that. Who knows? But you can see how some of our decision making, some of the actions we take, especially those actions that in retrospect we think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I'd waited, because now I would make a very different decision, can often be influenced by those four things, whether we're hungry, whether we're in the midst of anger or upset, whether we're feeling lonely and are really craving other people, or whether we're tired and our bodies and minds are depleted for those reasons. And so next time you go to make a decision that is kind of impulsive or reactive, and maybe is the kind of decision that you might not make if you felt differently, then the HALT acronym is a good one just to use in order to check in with yourself. Find out, are you hungry, angry or upset, lonely or tired? And if you are, it may well be worth attending to those needs, because attending to those needs are much more likely to get you what you want. So that's something to use for you to check in with yourself. I hope it's useful. If you think it has been useful, then feel free to share it with your friends. And if you want to work with me, my name's Alun Parry. I'm at the Liverpool Psychotherapy practice in Rodney Street, and that's at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. So, until tomorrow's episode, thanks for listening, and I'll see you then.